Hello students, myself Dr. Divya, Assistant Professor at Department of Chemistry, Institute of Aeronautical Engineering. So in this session, we will discuss the definition and terminology for the natural resources and environmental pollution module. So we have different definitions and terminology that we will be using in the natural resources and environmental pollution, which is the last module for this engineering chemistry. So first one is define renewable resources. So renewable resources are something like which are inexhaustible in no space. So inexhaustible and can be regenerated within a given span of time. That means that can be regenerated again and again even after usage. So example like hydropower energy, geothermal, solar, these are naturally occurring. So naturally occurring and can be regenerated as we use. So next one is what are non-renewable resources. So it is quite opposite. So the resources which cannot be regenerated in a time span. So it takes a lot of time to regenerate the process so that we get again the non-renewable resources. Like examples are like coal, oil, natural gas, nuclear energy, all these comes under non-renewable energy. So they are present in limited and they can be replenished only after long times like millions of years. Next, what is an aquifer? So aquifer is like in water table. If you see, this is the earth and these are the plantations that are present on earth. So aquifer is something that present beneath the earth or the soil. So a layer of sediment or rock that is highly permeable and contains water is called as aquifer. So this is permeable and also contains water. So it will percolate the water, it will allow the water to percolate into the underground or the ground well water. So this is nothing but aquifer that is present beneath the earth. Next, define surface water. So surface water is something like that is coming from the rain and is present only on the surface, not underground. So the water coming through precipitation when does not percolate down into the ground. So it does not percolate into the ground. So it is just present on the surface, just in the rivers or lakes. So that does not return to the atmosphere as evaporation or transpiration. Transpiration is known as surface water. So this surface water is like it is present on the surface of the earth and cannot be like it does not percolate into the earth and nor cannot be returned to the atmosphere during evaporation or transpiration. So that is coming under surface water. Next, define water logging. So stagnant water is nothing but water logging. So that slowly percolates and goes into the water table. So the stagnant water or the accumulation of water underground and gradually forms a continuous column in the water table. If this is the plants that are present, so it gradually goes into the water table. So this is nothing but water logging. Next, what is biogas? We know that biogas is can be produced from the organic matter that is coming out from our domestic waste. So biogas is a mixture of methane, carbon dioxide, hydrogen and hydrogen sulfide. So these are the constituents that are present out of produced from biological waste. So if you see here in this picture that cow dung is used for producing the biogas that can be used for the domestic cooking. So this contains methane, carbon dioxide, hydrogen and hydrogen sulfide. That also a combustible and produces energy that can be used for cooking. Next, what are solar cells? Solar cells are made of thin wafers of semiconductor materials like silicon and gallium. So as we see the solar panels that we are using in our life are made from semiconductor materials like silicon and gallium. So these are solar cells are made from thin wafers. Wafers are nothing but very thin wafers that are connected in series forms a panel. So wafers of semiconductors material like silicon and gallium. Next, what is wind farm? farm is nothing but together, like when it is the windmills, when they are kept together like this, so it forms a wind farm. So that produces energy or electricity for our usage. So a large number of windmills are installed in clusters called wind farm, which produces a large amount of electricity that can be used for both the industrial or domestic purpose. Then what is the composition of natural gas? If you see the composition of natural gas that is occurring, it comprises of methane with small amounts of propane and ethane. Methane, propane and ethane. So that comprises the natural gas. What is slip erosion? So slip erosion is something like in the hilly areas. If you see hilly areas, if you see there is a eroding of soil, so that is like slipping from the mountains or the hilly areas. So this occurs due to heavy rainfall on slopes of hills and mountains. So that forms the slip erosion. Then what is unconfined aquifer? Unconfined is something that is present just beneath the water earth, that is the water table, in that water table just beneath the earth. So aquifers which are overlaid by permeable earth material and are recharged by seeping water are called as unconfined aquifers. So these are just present beneath the earth and the water will percolate into this and it is present till here. So next will be the confined aquifer. So this is just because of seeping water that is coming into the water table and that therefore called as unconfined aquifer. Then what is confined aquifer? Confined aquifers are which are sandwiched between two impermeable layers of rocks. So there are two rock layers that are present, rock layers present like this. So impermeable rock layer. So when does it becomes impermeable? When it is under the ground, underground. So when it is underground and there is some water table here, then it is called as confined aquifer or sediments. So aquifers which are sandwiched between two impermeable layers of rocks or sediments are called as confined aquifer. If you see here, this is like impermeable layer, this is also an impermeable layer that is present, and an aquifer here is called as confined aquifer. Then what are living resources? Living itself understands like living resources are biological resources that are used by human beings. So example, forest and animals or plants, so on. So next is a water. Natural resources. Natural resources are present in nature. So any stock or reserve that can be drawn from nature is called as natural resources. So the stock or the reserve or resources that are drawn from nature is called as natural resources. Then what is subsidence? Subsidence is nothing but when groundwater withdrawal is more than its recharge rate. When the groundwater withdrawal is more than recharge. Recharge is nothing but the water percolation into the groundwater to level up. So the groundwater withdrawal is like usage. When it is more than the recharge, the sediments in the aquifer gets compacted, known as subsidence. So this is how the subsidence can be defined. Then what is soil erosion? Soil erosion is the movement of soil components, especially surface litter. Top fertile litter is like dust, dirt, etc. And top fertile soil from one place to another place. So whenever there is some movement in the soil components like surface litter or top layer of soil, that is fertile layer, from one place to another place, then it is called as soil erosion. It is removing or transporting to some other place. Okay. Define sheet erosion. Sheet erosion like sheets. It will be forming sheets like sheet of layers will be removed. So when there is a uniform removal of a thin layer of soil like forming sheets from a large area, surface area is called as sheet erosion. If you see here, these are like formed because of sheet erosion. In this picture, if you see, these are formed because this entire sheet is removed, so therefore there is a marks that are forming on that hilly area. Okay, then define gully erosion. So when rainfall is very heavy, deeper cavities or gullies are formed, which may be U or V shaped. So if you see here, these are the gully erosion. So deeper and deeper gullies are formed. Gullies are formed because of that heavy rainfall. So therefore that comes under gully erosion. Next, rill erosion, when there is a rainfall and rapidly running water produces finger-shaped grooves. So very thin finger-shaped grooves are formed over the area is called as rill erosion. What is the difference between the gully and rill erosion? The depth of the forming grooves is different. That means it is not deeper, it is just the grooves or rills that are formed here. So that becomes the rill erosion. Next, what is solar energy? So solar energy is the light and heat that comes from the sun. Solar energy is nothing but the light and heat that comes from the sun. And what are fossil fuels? Fossil fuels are coal, petroleum and natural gas occurring beneath the earth. So they come under fossil fuels. Right, the formation of coal. So coal formation was formed, like coal was formed around 255 to 350 million years ago in that hot damp regions of earth during carboniferous ages. It means it takes millions of years to form coal. So the heat, the pressure is just because of changes in the climate, seasonal changes. So that produces heat and pressure on the earth. So therefore, the beneath earth, the layers of beneath the earth will be very hot, and that converts the peat material into coal. So that is the formation of coal. Then what is drought? So when annual rainfall is below normal and less evaporation takes place, drought conditions are created just like this. The earth gets cracked. So that becomes drought because less rainfall, so that do not get hydrated, therefore becomes more and more evaporates, and therefore becomes drought conditions. Then define hydrological cycle. Hydrological cycle is nothing but the water cycle. So the water where we use keeps on cycling endlessly through the environment is called a hydrological cycle. If you see here, the first step is like evaporation, like it is going evaporated, water is evaporating from the earth. So then condensation and comes down in the form of clouds and rain, and so on. The cycle is going on and going on. So as the rain is coming down, it goes into the stream and goes finally into the oceans. So again, the evaporation takes place, precipitation, condensation, and goes into the ocean in the form of rain. So this is how the water is always cycling endlessly through the environment and is called as hydrological cycle. Next, define land degradation. So land degradation is something like damage. So soil erosion, waterlogging, salinization and contamination of soil with industrial waste, heavy metals causes degradation of land. It means it loses fertility. So soil erosion is removal of top layer of soil. Waterlogging is with the accumulation of water on the soil, so that will also cause soil problem. Salinization, high content of salt, high salt and contamination of soil with industrial waste is nothing but effluents are the hazardous substances that are coming out from the industries like heavy metals. So all these causes problem to the soil, and therefore that damages the soil fertility, therefore land degradation takes place. Then what is stream bank erosion? Stream is like running water. So just beside the stream there is something like bank. This is called as bank. So whenever there is during the rainy season, when fast streams take a turn in some other direction, so there is a turn here taking a turn in some other direction, so they cut the soil. This edge will be cut. This edge will be cut and make the halves caves in the banks. So this is how there is erosion taking place in the bank. This is how there will be the layer of soil will be removed from here because of that turn that is happening in the rainy season. So that is how the stream bank erosion occurs. Next, define pollution. So pollution is nothing but that we doesn't require the unfavorable alteration of environment caused by human activities and causing harm to human beings and other organisms. So that is like air pollution, noise pollution, water pollution, land pollution, so visualization pollution, everything comes under pollution. So that is really not required for human beings. That could be wantedly or unwantedly happening in the environment, so causing pollution to the humans. So what is air pollution? The imbalance in the quality of air so as to cause adverse effects on the living organisms existing on earth. So what happens here is the quality of air goes down. How does it go down? Because of hazardous gases that are releasing into the atmosphere, like sulfur dioxide, nitrogen dioxide or carbon dioxide, that are the greenhouse gases that is harmful to the earth and therefore is causing effects. So the pollution is due to the presence of undesirable substance of insufficient quantity which exists in environment. It means undesirable is not something like we doesn't require at all, is present in sufficient quantity. So a lot of quantity is released into the atmosphere, so therefore causing air polluted. So that is how the air pollution takes place. Then what are pollutants? How are they classified? So the substance or energy which causes pollution is called as pollutant. The substance that is causing pollution is called pollutant. Two types are present: primary pollutants and secondary pollutants. Give examples of primary and secondary pollutants. Primary are the carbon monoxides, oxides of sulfur, oxides of nitrogen, chlorofluorocarbons releasing from air conditioners, and then secondary pollutants like ozone, smoke, PAN and aerosol. So these are all the pollutants that are released into the atmosphere and causes pollution. So primary are like damaging a lot, like carbon monoxide, oxides of sulfur, oxides of nitrogen, CFS, and secondary pollutants are ozone, smoke, aerosol or PAN. So these are the pollutants that are present in primary and secondary pollutants. Then what is water pollution? So alteration of physical, chemical or biological characteristics of water, making it unsuitable for designated use in its natural state. So before it is purified, we cannot be used because there is alteration, is something changes happening in the physical, chemical and biological characteristics of water which is not suitable to use. So therefore comes under the water pollution. What are the causes or the sources of noise pollution? So noise pollution we see in our daily life. It occurs due to industrial noise, roadways, transportation, railways, airways, construction works, loudspeakers, TVs, etc. All these comes under the causes noise pollution. Then define soil pollution. If you see, this is a large dump of waste. So the presence of toxic chemicals in soil in high enough concentrations to pose a risk to human health. So that causes risk to human health, causing cancers or any other health diseases, skin diseases, other diseases. So the fumes or the materials that come in contact to humans is always toxic in nature. So this causes soil pollution. What is fluorosis? So excess of fluoride in drinking water causes defects in teeth and bones called as fluorosis. So the yellowish color is just because of fluorides that are present in high content in that particular water. So there are some areas in our state like they are causing fluorosis to the causing dental and skeletal problems. So this is Nothing but the fluorosis due to excess of fluoride content in the water. Then what is eutrophication? So a large portion of nitrogen and phosphorus used in crop fields is washed off and along with the runoff water reaches the water bodies, causing overnourishment of the lakes are known as eutrophication. So if there are fields nearby the water bodies, they go into the water bodies, nitrogen or phosphorus that is present in the fertilizers, so that will be like not required. The quantity of nitrogen or phosphorus entering into the water is not really required to the plankton or the living organisms present in the water. Therefore that causes over nourishment, and that is nothing but the eutrophication. Right, pollutants of water. So the pollutants of water are like sewage, industrial effluents, synthetic detergents, agrochemicals and oils. All these cause pollution to the water. Then what is Minamata disease? So this the people suffering from numbness of body parts, vision and hearing problems. This occur due to the consumption of methyl mercury contaminated fish. So whenever there is mercury entering into the water bodies, the fish intake the methyl mercury, and when this fish is consumed by the human, that causes Minamata disease. So that causes the numbness or vision problem and hearing problem to the humans. So that is nothing but the disease that is causing just because of the consumption of methyl mercury fish. Then what is blue baby syndrome? So if you see this baby, it is bluish color at some parts of this baby because of this blue baby syndrome that is present for this baby. It is because of nitrate when present in excess in drinking water causes blue baby syndrome. So any kind of element or metals excess in nature is always harmful. So it should be balanced everywhere. So the pollution always causes excess present in water, soil or any other forms. So the nitrate has to be maintained in the water samples, otherwise that causes blue baby syndrome. Thank you.
Like, share and subscribe. Hit the bell icon for more updates.